This is going to be at noon. We're going to SMU at Memphis. Currently, at time of record, SMU is an 8.5 point road favorite. Over under is set at 65.5 points. Both of these teams are 8-2 on the season. SMU is 6-0 in the conference. Memphis is 5-1. This is basically a conference playing game, and I'm not sure. Do they have divisions, or are they one of the wide open ones?
Wide open, top two go.
So let's take a look at this one here, Fresh. What you got with SMU versus Memphis?
Well, you've got two of the real teams in a fighting spot there. SMU obviously undefeated in the American. Memphis is only AAC loss to Tulane, and they also have a loss by 7 to Missouri. So they've definitely played some powerhouses, and it showed throughout the season. They both have won 4 straight, really on a good run here down the stretch. That's how you sort of build momentum coming in these games that actually mean more. Um, but I'm kind of Memphis. I'm worried about Memphis's defense. They've been able to outscore, but their defense has having some holes lately. Gave up 38, 50, 42, and 21 in their last 4, and those opponents were Charlotte, USF, North Texas, and UAB. Not exactly a murderer's row of college football offenses, so it kind of has me scared there. I mean, luckily they have Seth Hannigan at quarterback, who's been a real bright spot, 2,864 passing yards, over 20 touchdowns, very limited on the turnovers from intercepted perspective. Also leads the AAC in passing yards, so he's definitely been able to put up points, keep the ball moving for the Tigers and putting up yards. But they're going to need a lot of that on Saturday because that defense has been a little suspect as the season's progressed. He has been able to be balanced out offensively. Running back Blake Watson, 900 plus yards there, and receiver Rock Taylor, 779. The two of them really have been able to build a triumvirate of an effort. Really getting after it, complementing each other in the offensive philosophy for what the Tigers want to do. They're both going to all 3 are going to have big games on Saturday to take down SMU, because not only is SMU have a pretty good record, they have an amazing defense, and they actually lead the league and lead the conference in defense. Their quarterback Preston Stone, pretty almost similar to what Hannigan's been able to put up. Very, very similar numbers across the board. And they've been able to really spread it around. 8 different receivers have at least 16 receptions and 242 yards. So it's not one guy making things happen for the Mustangs. They're really getting it from all around the entire offense. And then obviously Jalen Knight and LJ Johnson, the 2 running backs, have combined for 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. So it is a wide open spectrum for SMU. They're really finding different weapons and different ways to attack you. And so it's really no one you can truly focus on, and allows the quarterback to really explore and expand the offense and take advantage of any opportunity that might be there in coverage when the defense comes in there. You're talking about the defense for SMU. They really have got to make sure they show up. They can't have a little off game. They've got to make sure they show up and get it done. But they are the best defense in the AAC, and they're really truly led by Elijah Roberts. He has 8.5 sacks so far. He's going to have at least 2 in this football game to really get them over the hump and get them in a chance to play Tulane, most likely, for the AAC title in a couple of weeks. So if they can keep moving that momentum defensively and get some stops, they're in great shape. This game is in Memphis. Crazy things happen. I think it's going to be a shootout. We're going to have a lot of points early. I don't think SMU's defense is going to be as amazing because they haven't played truly prolific offenses outside of Oklahoma all year, and they gave up 28 in that one. So I got a feeling they're going to have some, their numbers probably look better than what the talent they've actually played in the season. But I think we're going to get to more of like a 38-35 ball game. And you know what? Just for giggles and for chaos, give me the Memphis Tigers at home to win outright. I think Hannigan's going to come in there. They have a chance. They've been tested, versus Tulane. They already had that close loss. They were tested versus Missouri. I think that battle-tested mentality is going to catch up with them and give them a little extra boost in this football game and show that they actually are a better football team. So the Memphis Tigers pull off the upset, take down SMU, give them their first conference loss, and keep themselves in a good spot to play for an AAC title in a couple weeks.
Yeah, Fresh. The more I dived into this Memphis Tigers team, man, the more I really started liking them. And I'm going to give you my comparison. This is like the Diet Coke version of TCU and K-State last year. A good quarterback holds onto the football with a dynamic running back, kind of a do-everything running back. You talked about Blake Watson. He's got 6 of his 12 touchdowns have come in the last 4 games. He also has added a touchdown through the air on that one. He's their number 3 receiver, technically number 2 receiver, if you take a look at, with 43 catches on this year. I think SMU the interesting thing with SMU's defense is that they have 35 sacks on the year. They're creating a lot of pressure. How do you negate that as an offensive coach? How does the offensive coordinator kind of say, you know what, I know what you're going to try to do. I know what you're going to do to try to get after my quarterback. And that's using the running back as a receiving threat out of the backfield. It's having that screen game. It's dumping the ball off to him in the flats. SMU is going to have to account for that. That also means by having to account for those little flare out passes that they're going to have to keep a guy back instead of putting out maybe a 2-man pressure blitz or sending all the linebackers there. SMU's done a really good job, and I'm glad you brought up Elijah Roberts. The kid's been an absolute beast. Probably one of the best defensive ends that isn't really being talked about outside of the Power 5 conference. I really like the kid. He's just been kind of like a one-man wrecking crew. But again, like I said, SMU's got 35 sacks. If they get after the quarterback, if Hannigan starts taking like 2, 3, 4 sacks in this game where they're really, it seems like every single drive that they're taking a sack along the way, SMU is going to win this game. If you can figure out a way to negate Memphis, if Memphis can figure out a way to negate SMU's pressure, just like I talked about, with the running back and being able to flare that out, I think that this could be a long game for the Mustangs there. SMU is really looking to becoming a Power 5 team again, going back to the days of the Big 8 and being in that area of Waco, of Dallas, of San Antonio, of all those teams that were like, that was powerhouse football back in the 80s. And SMU's kind of like a phoenix come from the ashes. But don't sleep on Memphis either. Memphis is investing a lot of money into their football program, new stadium on the way, all sorts of new things going on there at Memphis. I'm with you, Fresh. Give me Memphis in the 8.5. If you're giving me Memphis in 8.5, I love this as a sleeper pick. I love Memphis on money line as well on the outright win. And I'm going to say the under comes in. 65.5 is a lot, but I can see like a 31-28 type of game with Memphis, winning this and it being a huge victory for the Tigers.
I got to tell you right now, it's going to be a good game. We're going to get 2 quality football teams showing up there on Saturday at noon. And, noon kickoffs are always kind of crazy. Bonker things happen because people are still getting out of bed. And actually in Memphis, it's an 11 a.m. kick. So that's where it really gets the day going when you have that nonsense and you're waking up early trying to play football.
Right. And folks, if you're looking for just a really good football game to watch, that would be the one I'd throw on at noon. If you are like, I just want a really good back and forth football game, I'm probably throwing on SMU Memphis.